Well, that didn't take very long. I predicted just last week to a group of insiders in my personal private community that the election of Claudia Sheinbaum in Mexico would result in an all-out attack on the family. I discovered an announcement yesterday from the Mexican government talking about why they need to ban Father's Day. I'll tell you what I think all this means and also why this is not going to ruin Mexico as a great Plan B destination, at least not in the foreseeable future. Hi, my name is Tay Nix. Please click the subscribe button below if you're interested in this topic, and also if you're interested in more information on the X-Plan community, which is my private group where I share information on international diversification and how you're going to protect yourself and your family and preserve your wealth through the coming chaos, then you can find out more about that at the link below. Just last week, I had a call with my private community, and I said that the election of Claudia Sheinbaum is turning up all kinds of indicators that essentially the woke agenda and the culture war that has so ravaged the United States and Canada in the last several years has now come to Mexico. Well, it didn't take long to find confirmation of this fact. I just came across a post, and I'll share it with you in a second, of a man breaking down a memo that was circulated. It's not a law per se. This is sort of a suggestion, right, from the new administration about how they want to make sure that they're inclusive of diverse families. That means gay parents, same-sex parents, and single mothers, but that we need to make sure that we don't celebrate Father's Day because that would make other people feel excluded. I'm going to play this. It's all done in Spanish, but I will do a stop and do simple translation.
Bueno, pues esto es insólito. La Comisión para Prevenir y Erradicar la Discriminación en México, la COPRED, acaba de publicar una carta precisamente en el fin de semana que en México celebramos el Día del Padre. Escucha, haciendo...
So the Association in Mexico to Prevent Discrimination, here we go, right? Just published a card about their official position, right? Their official posture.
Oficial su postura para promover a nivel nacional y de manera gubernamental que se suspenda en nuestro país la celebración del...
So at the national level, right, for the entire country, they want to suspend Father's Day.
Día del Padre, así como lo oyes. Textualmente, la carta que hicieron dice: exhortamos a las escuelas de nivel básico, preescolar, primaria y secundaria a replantear sus festividades con motivo del Día del Padre, en las que se exalta un único modelo de familia.
So at the level, right, we exhort the schools at the primary, secondary level to change, say, replantear, is to like replace the festivities and commemorations of Father's Day, which promotes a model of the family, only one model of the family. This is what's coming. This is what has happened in Mexico.
Y no se mira desde una perspectiva
it doesn't include the family situation of all infants.
Incluyente para todas las infancias. Bueno, pues te recuerdo que la COPRED y la CONAPRED se han distinguido en los últimos años.
COPRED and CONAPRED are some kind of Mexican regulatory departments of some sort.
Por tener este sesgo pro-LGBT y una abierta promoción de la ideología.
So they offer a very open promotion of LGBT, right, as we all expect and know.
De género. Desde su plataforma de gobierno, ahora no solo están impulsando su agenda, sino que quieren impedir que los padres seamos celebrados un día al año. Increíble, ¿no te parece? Pues bien, su carta dice también, escucha, que estas celebraciones justifican los estereotipos en el aprendizaje de las infancias.
So these existing traditions essentially create stereotypes where young children are learning, are not learning, and are not seeing the visibility of diversity in families.
No visibiliza la diversidad de las familias, sino que refuerza su construcción de manera tradicional. Pero
except in their traditional form, and reinforcing the archetype and the construction, the structure of the family in a traditional manner.
Acentuando la exclusión, violencia y discriminación en contra de niños y niñas. En pocas palabras,
excluding the cases of violence that children either endure or have to witness.
Su argumento dice que debido a que hay familias con madres solteras y con parejas de la diversidad sexual, entonces los padres no debemos ser celebrados
So they want to absolutely include celebration of single mothers and lesbian couples and gay couples, etc. But absolutely, there will be no celebration of Father's Day. We cannot have that.
Públicamente, para que los demás no se sientan excluidos. Es que esto parece chiste.
Because we want to make sure that if we celebrate Father's Day, then the rest of the groups will be feel excluded, right? Are you following the logic?
Pero es real. Debemos entender
It seems like a complete joke, but it's real. Like this is what they're now telling people and telling the schools.
que la celebración del orgullo gay en el mes de junio no se celebra por casualidad en lo que fue un día el mes para celebrar a los padres. Debemos entender también que este tipo de acciones no son aleatorias, no son casuales, son parte de una agenda.
Part of an agenda, right? We can have an entire gay month to celebrate gayness, but you absolutely cannot have one day to celebrate fathers.
Para desmantelar la familia tradicional y eliminar el modelo biológico hombre y mujer.
And this is part of an agenda to attack the family, break up the family.
Y estas expresiones básicas de masculinidad y de feminidad. Así la ideología de género y así su agresivo avance en México. Lo peor de todo es que día a día crece una cultura de mordaza que pretende silenciar toda voz disidente con el pretexto de esta famosa.
And day after day, there continues to develop a culture to censor and demoralize people. Anybody is trying to speak up and speak out is, of course, encouraged to shut up.
Frase de discurso de odio se silencia a quienes.
Because, right, you've heard it before. It's the same rap. If you speak out against this, well, then you must be in favor of hatred.
No estamos de acuerdo con la cultura trans y la ideología de género. Y quiero dejar claro, esto no es un discurso de odio para nadie. Las preferencias sexuales de cada uno son eso, sus preferencias, las cuales pueden ejercer con total libertad. Y
your sexual preferences are your own preferences, right? You're allowed to enjoy yourself in whatever way you want.
El mismo respeto que muchos tenemos por la libertad sexual de otros es el que pedimos para nuestra libertad de opinión, de creencia.
Obviously, if you're allowed to practice whatever sexual preference you want, then there's also liberty for other people to promote and stand strong for biological parentage as well.
Y ahora también hasta de festejos públicos. ¿Hasta cuándo nos vamos a quedar callados? ¿Es que en verdad vamos a permitir que cosas como estas continúen en nuestro país?
Are we going to let this continue to happen in our país, in our country?
Postura no es también en sí misma un acto discriminatorio para todos los hombres que somos padres.
Isn't this a form of discrimination against fathers?
Es que no es obvio que después de esto también van a desmantelar el Día de las Madres con los mismos argumentos. Por favor.
Aren't they going to dismantle and outlaw the Mother's Day next, right?
Parte de este video, tenemos que ser muchas más voces las que nos levantemos en contra de estas cuestiones.
Raise your voice against all of this. Amen.
So the logic is something like, if you have a mother and father in a traditional biological family structure, that's bad, and we don't want to celebrate that, because what we need to do is be more inclusive and make sure that we don't offend people who are living without a father, or have two dads, or two moms. Something like that. It's the same kind of twisted illogic that has made so many people so crazy. And you'll see, I'll translate for you what the man says in the video. You'll see exactly the same patterns of essentially targeting the traditional family, of going after people who are normal for having mothers and fathers. Remember that Mexico is about 80% Catholic. Most of the families actually are intact. You can't find a country where family is actually more emphasized and more celebrated than Mexico. And so, in a certain sense, this comes as no surprise. However, I'm going to give you my reasons why I don't think this is a big deal, at least not for the foreseeable future, and tell you why Mexico is still an excellent, excellent opportunity and a great destination if you need to set up a plan B to protect yourself and your family through the coming chaos. In March of this year, 2024, as I'm filming this, I spent some time in Mexico City with my family. I saw a poster, I saw a billboard actually on the side of a building talking about a TV show, a sort of Netflix type telenovela kind of special. The translation of the title of the show, I don't remember it exactly, but it translated roughly to How to Have a Happy Divorce. And the whole gist of the poster, what it was showing was, of course, some stupid father figure, right, is being pissed on as everybody else, and the women are running off having affairs and having a great time, and the children are actually really happy about this. That has happened to nobody ever, because of course divorce is the worst single thing that can happen to a family, short of the death of a family member. That this kind of propaganda is already appearing, that this kind of message is being sent out, and that you're seeing this in Mexico, which is the most family-oriented place really that I've ever been. I don't know of a place even elsewhere in Latin America where family is absolutely rock solid and very much celebrated, where this kind of message is actually being propagated. And yet you saw it before the election, and then now you see after the election of Claudia Sheinbaum that the full court press on the family and the traditional family values that Mexicans hold so dear is obviously, it's already apparent. So we're now just over 2 weeks. She was elected on June 2nd, so we're just about 2 weeks into her reign, and this is what we get. I was right about that, but that wasn't a very difficult call to make. The reason I think that Mexico is still going to be an awesome destination, if you need to get out of North America, chances are you're headed to Mexico first. And the reason is it's the most prosperous place in North America, in Latin America, I should say, by far. The per capita GDP is something around $15,000, which doesn't sound like a lot, but when you go to the various parts of Mexico where, say, you and I as expatriates would consider settling, whether that's Mexico City or the Riviera Maya, which is growing fast, great rental income opportunities there. I did a special video on that you can check out at the end of this one. The various ways and places to make money if you purchase property in Mexico. All of these things amount to a very, very positive trajectory overall. The big infrastructure projects that have been some completed, some that are still underway, taking place in Mexico, is really making Mexico a very, very attractive destination because there's an overall trajectory of prosperity and positivity. The other big trend, of course, is nearshoring. Nearshoring is manufacturing and factory work that's coming back from Asia as the world deglobalizes. Mexico is the primary destination for much of the nearshoring. Firms that are bringing manufacturing back to the North American continent are looking at Mexico. It makes the most sense. It has the best population for it. It's the closest to the US and Canada, where a lot of those products are going to end up. And so it makes good sense that Mexico is actually going to continue on an upswing. This Sheinbaum is truly a bad character, but I don't think that her efforts to sort of unseat the traditional family will find much fertile soil. I just don't see it. All countries have a gay population. All countries have people who prefer various other sexual orientations and preferences. And by and large, the world has gotten past the need to persecute or stone or burn such people at the stake. By and large, all of that stuff is largely accepted in the world. But certainly in Mexico, there's huge gay communities. Puerto Vallarta is a famous destination. It's not like this is something new or something that needs to be defended. Most of the country is perfectly fine with whatever people want to do in the privacy of their bedrooms. But the idea that you're going to break up the family because you think that this idea of diversity and inclusion and all the rest, Mexicans understand by and large exactly what has happened in the US. If you talk to the average Mexican here, they understand the complete shit show that has taken place in the culture war. They're not dumb. They get it. And the fact that that playbook is being rolled out here is simultaneously very negative, but it's going to be rejected. This is not something, they're not going to destroy the family in her 6-year term. It's just not going to happen. I expect plenty of pushback. I expect plenty of people to actually shrug and laugh and just ignore the message altogether. The idea that at the official level that you're going to actually ban Father's Day, well, that's a negative development overall. But again, I think it's also going to serve as a wake-up call for a lot of people. I'm not saying that the population of Mexico is somehow more action-oriented. We see the sort of lackadaisical attitude that people have had, and it's part of the reason that the whole politically correct woke agenda has taken such fervent root in the cultures of the US and Canada. But nonetheless, Mexico has a family orientation that goes way beyond anything you see up north. And so I don't see that being rolled out and having quite the same impact or success. The other thing is that Sheinbaum is going to be very, very anti-business. She's dyed-in-the-wool climate hysteria type of personality. And Mexico is a big place for mining. Nobody's going to be investing money in Mexican mining. Overall, that's bad for the country. It's obviously a very negative thing that that's happening, but you're not coming to Mexico because you're trying to start a company or kick some other kind of business off. I do have contacts that can help you with that. If you are interested, if you have a business that needs to reshore, near shore, you can contact me about that. I have contacts that will help you move your business to Mexico. But most people are not coming to Latin America for that reason. They're coming because they want a good quality of life away from chaos in a beautiful part of the world with excellent weather and great food that's affordable, where a lot of the shenanigans that are playing out in the US and Canada are simply not going to work. My big lesson for people on Latin America is that the benefit is not only do you have great weather and lots of land and you're basically welcome here as a North American, but that also what you get when you come to Latin America is completely dysfunctional governments. They have absolutely no ability to coerce people on a massive scale the way that the US and Canadian governments do. And so you get a lot when you come to Latin America, and that's not going to change. Not with the imposition of a new president, a new woke president in Mexico, and certainly not with any of the nonsensical policies she's going to try to implement right away. So bad for the family, bad for Mexico, bad for Mexican culture. It's another sign of sort of the globalist agenda, and it will fail. I believe it will fail. We've seen it fail everywhere it's been tried, but it's important to note these things and to understand what's happening, and that overall nothing has really changed. Mexico is still an excellent place to come with your family. It's an excellent place to invest still by and large, and there's great opportunities. That's enough for this video, and I'll be back in another video to talk to you about the situation with Russia, and Russian subs were just sent to Cuba. In response, the United States sent its own US attack sub that is designed to sink other submarines to Guantanamo Bay in Cuba. Most people are not paying attention to what's unfolding in the world, and we really are about half a second to midnight in terms of the potential of an actual nuclear conflict with Russia. Any conflict with Russia is going to end in nuclear exchange, which is the end of life on planet Earth. Nobody seems to take this very seriously. In the next video, I'm going to play for you a clip of the Serbian president talking about exactly how close we are and why right now we have no off-ramps for what is coming. Remember that Europe has seen this drama before. And so I'll be back with more of that. You can check out that video right over here.